I want to tell you something that sounds completely counterintuitive. I've watched this pattern show up in thousands of clients. The moment they stopped trying, everything they wanted started appearing. And it happened in 21 days. I know that sounds like marketing nonsense. Trust me, I felt the same way when I started seeing it. But once I understood the neuroscience beneath it, everything changed. People would come to me exhausted. They'd been visualizing, journaling, doing all the right things, and still nothing. Or worse, the thing would show up, but they'd sabotage it because deep down, they didn't actually feel worthy of it. The problem wasn't that they weren't manifesting correctly. The problem was that they were trying too hard. And the irony is so sharp, it almost hurts. The harder you try to manifest something, the less likely you are to actually get it. This is not woo. This is psychology. This is neuroscience. And it changes everything about how you think about creating the life you want. Let me explain how. There's a concept called ironic process theory, developed by psychologist Daniel Wegner at Harvard. He was studying something deceptively simple. What happens when you try really hard not to think about something? He asked people, whatever you do, do not think of a white bear. And what do you think happened? The white bear became the only thing they could think about. The harder they tried to suppress the thought, the louder it got. Wegner's research revealed something crucial about human consciousness. When you direct intense effort toward controlling a thought or emotion, the very mechanism you're using to suppress it actually activates that thought more. There are two processes happening simultaneously. One part of your mind is consciously trying to block the thought. Another part is automatically checking whether you're thinking about it. And to check, it has to bring the white bear to mind. This is not a flaw in your thinking. This is how your brain is wired. The monitoring system cannot check for the absence of something without first representing it. Your brain has to picture the white bear in order to confirm that you are not thinking about the white bear. It is a beautiful, cruel irony of consciousness. Now, apply this to manifesting. You want a partner, so you visualize a partner. You journal about what kind of partner would be perfect. You repeat affirmations about being worthy of love. All of it coming from this underlying desperation, this intense effort to control the outcome. What's really happening underneath? Your consciousness is hyperactivating the thought of lacking a partner. You are literally programming your nervous system to focus on absence instead of presence. This is where the nervous system piece becomes critical. When you're in this state of trying too hard, of grasping, of controlling, your sympathetic nervous system is activated. This is your fight, flight, freeze system. Your body is in a subtle state of emergency. Cortisol is elevated. Your heart rate is slightly accelerated. You feel a low-level anxiety that you might call motivation or drive, but it's actually stress. You might even feel productive. You might feel like all those morning routines and visualization sessions mean you are doing the work. But your body knows the difference between genuine aligned action and anxious striving. And your body is keeping score. And if this is already landing for you, subscribe. Because the neuroscience of what comes next is going to change how you approach everything. And here's the neurobiology of why this blocks manifestation. When your sympathetic nervous system is active, specific neural networks shut down. Your default mode network, the part of your brain responsible for creativity, insight, intuition, and lateral thinking, becomes suppressed. Your prefrontal cortex, which does all the complex decision-making and social processing, goes offline. You're in survival mode, and survival mode is not creative. It's not open, it's closed, contracted, and defensive. Write white bear in the comments if you just realise that your manifestation practice has been keeping you locked in the frequency of wanting instead of having. I see this in almost every client I work with, and recognising it is the first step. The people I watched who finally got results were the ones who stopped trying. They gave up the visualisation. They stopped the affirmations. They stopped checking whether it was working. And somewhere in that surrender, something shifted. When you stop the intense effort to control an outcome, your sympathetic nervous system begins to down-regulate. Your body recognises that there's no active threat. Your vagal tone improves. This is the parasympathetic shift, the rest and digest state. In this state, something remarkable happens to your brain. Your default mode network activates. This is the part of your brain that's most associated with creativity, with insight, with the sudden knowing that doesn't come from logic, but from somewhere deeper. Your prefrontal cortex comes back online. You become capable of complex social processing, of noticing opportunities, of saying yes to serendipity without analysing it to death. And this is where I think the real magic of manifestation happens. It's not that you're visualising your way into a different reality. It's that when your nervous system is finally calm enough to notice, opportunities have been there all along. Your dating app matches have been sitting there. That job opportunity your friend mentioned 3 weeks ago suddenly pops back into your head. The conversation naturally flows toward something you need. You remember a name someone gave you 6 months ago and you look them up and they are exactly the connection you needed. None of this is new information entering your life. It is existing information that your nervous system was too contracted to process. But there's more to the 21-day timeline, and this is where neuroscience gets really specific. If you want a structured guide for going through this 21-day reset, the pursuit paradox was built for exactly this. It's in the description. When you stop the intense effort, when you let your nervous system down-regulate, you're creating the conditions for neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganise and form new neural connections. And research shows that this reorganisation needs time, not arbitrary time, specific time. I want you to think about what that means practically. For the first week, your nervous system does not trust the peace. It keeps checking. It keeps sending you intrusive thoughts about the thing you want, testing whether you will pick up the old pattern. By the second week, the checking becomes less frequent. You notice longer stretches where you simply forget to worry. By the third week, the new state starts to feel normal, not forced, not effortful, just normal. And that transition from effortful calm to automatic calm is the signature of genuine neuroplastic change. I'm talking about genuine, measurable changes in how your neurons communicate with each other. When you spend 3 weeks consistently in a parasympathetic state, your brain literally rewires. The pathways that were accustomed to run at high stress baseline start to weaken. The pathways that support calm, intuitive knowing start to strengthen. This isn't metaphorical. Functional MRI scans show this. As habits form and nervous system states shift, there's a gradual reorganisation of neural activity, moving from the prefrontal cortex toward the basal ganglia. Your body is learning a new normal. There's a popular myth that it takes 21 days to form a habit, and most people think that's the hard ceiling, the magic number. The myth actually comes from plastic surgeon Maxwell Maltz, who observed in the 1950s that his patients took about 21 days to adjust psychologically to their new appearances. He published this in his book Psychocybernetics, and the culture latched onto it. But what Maltz was describing was far more complex than simple habit formation. The research is more nuanced than the popular version. Yes, some simple habits can solidify in 21 days, but what we're talking about is not just habit formation. We're talking about a genuine recalibration of your nervous system's baseline state. This is deeper work. This is the rewiring of your fundamental sense of safety, of what's possible, of your capacity to receive. And here is something fascinating about what happens to your perception during this window. Research on attentional bias shows that stressed individuals have a narrower attentional field. They literally see less of the world around them. Their eyes fixate on potential threats and miss neutral or positive stimuli. When your cortisol drops and your parasympathetic system comes online, your attentional field widens. You see more, you notice more, you are available to information that was always present but invisible to your stressed brain. This is not magical thinking. This is measurable visual neuroscience. Your stressed brain had blinders on, and the 21 days removes them. When you stop trying, you're asking your body to learn a new way of being. Instead of contracted and effortful, you're teaching it calm and receptive. And the brain needs consistent repetition of this new state for it to become your default. This isn't about being lazy. This isn't about giving up. This is active nervous system retraining, and it requires your full commitment to the practice of not trying. 21 days is the threshold where, if you maintain this parasympathetic state consistently, your nervous system begins to actually recognize it as safe. Your vagal tone improves, your baseline cortisol drops, and crucially, your capacity to notice and receive starts functioning again. Your body stops sending false alarm signals about scarcity. Your mind stops running the looping narrative of never having enough. You become, at last, someone who is genuinely available to receive. 21 days is also the timeline that neuroscientists observe in studies of nervous system reset protocols. When people commit to consistent parasympathetic activation, whether through breathwork, cold water exposure, meditation, or simply removing the pressure to control outcomes, around day 18 to 21 is when they report a palpable, measurable shift. They feel different, lighter, more open, more themselves. And in that openness, in that genuine embodied trust, the thing they wanted seems to find them. But here's the crucial detail. They stopped waiting for it. They stopped monitoring for it. They stopped checking the mirror to see if it had arrived. They just let their nervous system settle, and the arrival happened in the background of their piece. I watched this happen with a client named Sarah. She'd been trying to manifest a business opportunity for 8 months. She was doing all the things, vision boards, morning manifestation routines, the works, expensive courses on quantum manifestation, manifestation meditations. She was putting in the hours, nothing was coming through. Or rather, the opportunities came, but she sabotaged them because on a deeper level, she didn't feel worthy of them. She was stressed about the lack of progress, which meant her sympathetic nervous system was chronically activated. Her cortisol was running high. She was living in the vibration of lack, even while her mind was trying to tell her she deserved abundance. Her nervous system and her mind were fighting, and her nervous system was winning. She was literally pushing the opportunity away through her own physiological state. She would describe it later as living in a permanent state of reaching. Her arms were always extended toward something that kept moving further away. Her entire body was organised around the effort of getting, and that effort had become so familiar that she could not distinguish it from her personality. She thought that striving was who she was. She did not realise it was a nervous system state. One day she was exhausted, not the good kind of tired where you've accomplished things. The deep, bone-tired exhaustion of effort that wasn't working. She stopped. She decided to take 21 days off from any manifestation practice whatsoever. No visualization, no affirmations, no checking her emails obsessively or refreshing her inbox. She just stopped. She rested. She did gentle yoga, nothing intense. She took walks in nature. She read books that had nothing to do with productivity or manifestation. She let her nervous system settle and something shifted in her body. By day 5 or 6, she started sleeping better. By day 12, she noticed she was smiling at things. Not forced positivity, genuine lightness. Her body was down-regulating. Her baseline anxiety was dropping. Write day 19 in the comments if you have ever had something show up exactly when you finally stopped looking for it. I want to hear your version of this story. On day 19, completely by accident, while she was just living her life without expectation, someone approached her at a networking event and described an opportunity that was precisely what she'd been trying to manifest for 8 months, not a pale imitation, the actual thing. But here's the key detail. That person had been trying to reach her for 3 weeks. The opportunity was real. It was there. It had been there. But Sarah's nervous system had been too contracted, too in fight-flight, to actually hear the subtle cues that would have led her toward it. Her attention was too narrow. Her system was too rigid. But on day 19, relaxed and open, she was finally available. This is what I mean by surrender is the most active thing you can do. You're not passively waiting around, watching Netflix and hoping the universe notices you. You're actively, deliberately, intentionally retraining your nervous system to a state where it can receive. You're doing the most important work there is, getting your body to believe it's safe enough to open. And I want to add something here that I think is critically important. When Sarah received that opportunity on day 19, her first instinct was not panic. It was not the frantic excitement she would have felt 8 months earlier, the kind that makes you grip the thing so tightly you crush it. Instead, she felt something she described as quiet certainty, like she already knew it was hers. That quiet certainty is the hallmark of a nervous system that has shifted from sympathetic dominance into ventral vagal safety. It is the feeling of someone who can receive without grasping, and it changed not just that one opportunity, but how she approached every opportunity after it. Write quiet certainty in the comments if that is the state you want to live in, because that is exactly what the next 21 days can give you. And there's one more piece, because manifestation in the quantum sense isn't just about your personal nervous system, it's about your energetic frequency, which is really just a poetic way of talking about the vibrational state your body puts out. When you're in sympathetic overdrive, you're vibrating at the frequency of desperation, of lack, of reaching. Your face looks different, your posture is different, your voice carries a subtle tension. People feel that. Animals feel that. Opportunities sense that because they're looking for people who seem secure enough to receive them. The universe, if you believe in that, responds to that frequency by matching it. When you shift into parasympathetic activation, you're vibrating at the frequency of trust, of alreadiness, of open-handedness. Your face softens, your shoulders drop, your voice becomes grounded, and the psychological research backs this up. People are drawn to others who are calm and secure. Opportunities flow toward people who seem like they can handle them without desperation, without grasping. Your nervous system state broadcasts and the world responds. This isn't woo. This is about the basic human capacity to perceive authenticity and trust. I have seen this in my practice hundreds of times. The client who stops performing abundance and starts actually feeling safe. The client who stops saying affirmations through gritted teeth and starts breathing deeply for the first time in years. The shift is unmistakable when it happens, and it happens not because they believed harder, but because their body finally trusted that it was allowed to rest. So the 21 days isn't magic, it's physiology, it's neuroscience, it's the amount of time your system needs to genuinely recalibrate from chronic stress to baseline calm. It's the window in which your nervous system stops lying to you about danger and starts telling you the truth about safety. It's the timeline for your brain to form new pathways that don't require constant vigilance. And when that recalibration happens, when your default mode network is finally online and your parasympathetic tone is strong, the manifestations don't feel like miracles. They feel like what was always supposed to happen finally arriving. They feel like luck, like perfect timing, like the universe had your back all along. But really, what you've done is gotten your nervous system quiet enough to receive what was always there, waiting for someone calm enough to notice it. This is the distinction I want you to get. You weren't broken before. You weren't undeserving before. You just couldn't receive while you were in desperation mode. It's like trying to hear a whisper in a crowded room. The whisper is always there, but your ears are too attuned to the noise of the crowd. The 21 days quiets the room, and suddenly you hear the whisper. You see the email. You notice the person. You take the leap because your nervous system is finally saying yes instead of no. I want to be clear about something. Stopping the effort doesn't mean becoming passive. It doesn't mean you sit around and do nothing. That's not receptivity. That's dissociation. True receptivity is active. It's alive. It's you showing up to your life, taking aligned actions, but without the desperation underneath. It's you saying yes to the invitation, sending the message, going to the event, not because you're anxious about missing out, but because you're genuinely interested and your nervous system is calm enough to be present when you're there. The difference is subtle but profound. One approach is grasping, the other is gathering. One comes from fear of missing out, the other comes from trust that what's for you will meet you halfway. And your body knows the difference even when your mind cannot tell. When you are grasping, your breathing is shallow, your muscles are braced, your eyes are scanning. When you are gathering, your breathing is full, your posture is open, your gaze is soft and wide. People in your life can feel this difference, even if they cannot name it. They feel safer around you when you are gathering. They feel drawn to you. They open up to you in ways they never did when you were in pursuit mode, because your nervous system state is contagious. Your calm gives other people permission to be calm. And in that shared calm, genuine connection becomes possible in a way that desperate striving never could achieve. I created a resource for this exact reason, because I notice so many people understand the concept intellectually, but struggle with the practice. They get that trying too hard doesn't work, but they don't know how to actually stop. It's called the pursuit paradox, and it's a deep dive into how to actually stop trying, how to surrender without spacing out, how to trust the 21-day window without slipping into denial, how to recalibrate your nervous system for genuine, easy manifestation that doesn't require you to white-knuckle your way into your own life. If this resonates, if you're tired of the effort, if you're ready to let your nervous system show you what's actually possible, I'd recommend grabbing the Pursuit Paradox. It walks you through exactly how to create the conditions for manifestation to feel effortless, because that's when you know it's real. If something in this shifted for you today, subscribe and send this video to someone who has been white-knuckling their manifestation practice. Sometimes the most generous thing you can do for someone you love is give them permission to stop trying so hard. The thing about paradoxes is that once you understand them, they're not paradoxes anymore. They're just how the system actually works. You stop manifesting, everything shows up. Not because you weren't worthy before, not because the universe is testing you, but because your nervous system is finally calm enough to receive. And in 21 days of genuine rest, that becomes your new baseline.